Welcome everybody to Wednesday Night Live. We're back for another show. Had some guests set up, but they're going to reschedule. We'll have them back on next week. Nick Orlando is going to join us. He is our number one fill-in guest. He's our surprise fill-in guest, guys.
It's no surprise that Nick's going to show up.
No, but he's our guest. He's our fill-in, right? What does Hollywood call the guy that comes in to?
He's our stand-in. I don't know
stand-in.
Who cares? We're not Hollywood.
Yeah.
We're Hollywood.
Close
You're the
enough.
Wisconsin version of Hollywood.
We're close enough. We're Hollywood-ish. We're Hollywood-ish.
I'm 6.5 hours from it. Tim lived an hour and a half from it.
Something like that.
Yeah, so we're we're there somewhere, and I'm sure there's parts of Wisconsin that got that Hollywood feel to it.
No,
I'm sure.
Maybe down in the southern part of the state.
Palm trees, rolling hills, beach, surf, sand, the whole nine.
We have no palm trees here.
Cows with luscious hair just walking the strip.
That we do have.
We got a great show for you. Like I said, Nick's going to come in and join us tonight. Let's say hello to Mr. Milk in the Bag, Tom. Tom, how's your week going, buddy?
Not too bad. Didn't really do much of anything. Still waiting to hear about my four-wheeler. Hi to everybody in chat.
Yeah,
hi fellas.
Yeah. Did you get some new arrows? Because they're glowing in the dark back there. Is that something new?
Different
I
color.
didn't notice it.
No. I just added more to what's back there.
Yeah, I
those are called tracer rounds, John. That's you can see them fuckers
as they're coming,
as they're going. I don't want to be on the receiving end of one of those arrows. I can tell
you really don't.
You guys,
I'm really good with that.
Did any of you guys watch that series on Netflix called Norseman?
No.
No, there's a slave, and he's been a slave for like 50 years, but he's got this eagle eyesight, right? Someone shoots this arrow, and he's sitting there, and he looks up, and he goes, "There's something pointy coming at me," and he's staring at this thing, and it's two arrows go right through the poor bastard's eyes, and I'm thinking to myself, he's like, I'm one day away from retirement as being a slave. I'm like, oh, great,
So, well, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just kind of heard a little bit about it, but that sounds funny. Sounds like it's where they got the idea for Squid Game.
Yeah, it's Viking era, but with our dialogue. So they're kind of using our words that we use today that are just off the wall words.
Yeah,
and they're using them during the show, and it's just
modern
hilarious.
Talk, but in an antiquated Viking setting.
It's freaking hilarious. It's like, anyone out there has seen it, it's hilarious. It's called Norseman, I think, or Norsum.
There were so many freaking Viking shows on for such a period of time there that it was literally it was like, let's just have a rash of zombie shows, and then let's just have a rash of friggin' Viking shows.
Well, I've never seen the one that was the HBO one. What was that called? That wasn't Vikings, but it was like Queens and Kings. I don't know what it was called.
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones. I never seen it. I don't know what that's based on. If it's based, it's not Viking though, right?
No, that was more like medieval sort of castle-y kind of shit, like Guinevere and Camelot kind of crap.
No idea. Never watched it, but I'm sure somebody in chat did.
It will be dyed. I am dyeing it, Luke. Relax. It is going to be
Grecian
dyed.
formula to the rescue.
Yeah. It's coming. I'm doing it for November No Shave. So I'm trying to get it nice and full because I'm in a beard contest. So I'm going to do my best. And the week before the contest ends, I'm going to dye it. Go ahead, Tommy boy.
Okay. As the only one here that's permanently bearded, No Shave November is just amateur month.
No. But this isn't amateur. This is good stuff going here.
No, it's amateur
Tim,
month.
when's the last time you grew some facial hair?
Probably like 1997, 98.
Did you goatee?
I had the goatee, yeah.
And like Luke said, you're supposed to start with no beard.
But I can't grow facial hair. It looks all jacked up on my face, so I just don't even try.
Yeah. So, Tom, anything else exciting in your life this week?
Nope.
Not getting married? No hot dates? No hot dates?
Nope.
Nothing, huh? You need to get out there, Tom. You need to
Nope.
get out there.
Women are
Oh,
trouble.
how? Just for shits and giggles, how is the dating life in Wisconsin?
I don't know. I haven't been on a date in years.
You're no good to me. Get out of here. I'll ask. Well, I was going to say I'll ask Morgan, but she's what living
She's
with
been
someone.
in a relationship for 3 years, so
Yeah,
for
so
her it's great.
Yeah. Curtis's goatee is 17 inches long. Jesus Christ.
Respect, Curtis.
That's damn long, man. That's as long as your hair, Timmy.
Yeah. I just grow my beard out of the top of my head. There you go.
That's it.
That's
See,
how
you
that's
just
how I
wrap
do
your
it.
hair around, Tim. Make it look like a beard.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, Tim? What are you gonna do when it starts going gray? You just gonna
I have gray in there, man. It's in there.
No, I mean gray.
I'm gonna be debonair and let it go gray. I'm not gonna
You're
cut
just
it
gonna-
just because it turns gray. Fuck it. If it's still coming out of my head, I'm gonna let it grow. Man,
are you-
there's people my age already, including my brother, who's totally gray and losing his hair.
Yeah.
So if I mean, I'm not trying to piss that crowd off, but like throw it in their face or anything. I mean, shit happens. But I'm just saying, as long as I can still grow it, I will grow it.
Yeah, you and
That's
my buddy Bob.
And that's the bottom line.
You guys are. I think he's a year older than us, and he's got the same hair you do, man. And he's cut it one time in his entire life, and that was because his daughter begged him for her wedding. She goes, "Dad, I just want a normal haircut, just once for the wedding," and she didn't want him putting it in a ponytail or slicking it back for the wedding. She wanted a nice haircut from her, and he did it. I was shocked, dude.
I get it. It grows back, but at this point at this stage in the game, that is not a guarantee. So what I'm saying is that
would you do it for your daughter? You do it for your daughter.
Might have
Your
to
only
fight.
daughter.
Might have to fight me first.
Yeah, it's his only daughter, dude. He cut that thing. I was like, he hadn't cut his hair probably like you.
That's true, Curtis. That is fucking true. But then I'd have to grow the mustache and the beard though, because I know the dude you're talking about.
Yeah, he hadn't cut his hair since he was 16, and that was the first time he cut his hair.
I did cut it. Cut it. I mean, I don't want to go into the details of my life, but I mean, I was trying to for a period of time, for a very short window of time, I thought that I needed to reinvent the wheel, and so I basically cut all my hair off and thought that if I made a drastic change, that I would find some light at the end of the tunnel, and I just was cheating myself. I was not being me. So here I am.
Did you feel like Hercules when that happened? When you cut it, did you lose your powers?
No. I kind of jokingly would say that. I mean, because it was like my David and Goliath kind of thing, but no, I think it just really resulted in just me still being me, but like just in a body that just didn't fit.
Tim's not crazy enough to pull off Uncle Ted.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm nowhere. I'm not even anywhere remotely close to Nugent's book. That dude's fucking wackadoo.
Maybe Sebastian Bach level. Sebastian Bach crazy?
I don't know that he's crazy. He's more. He is a bit psycho,
Tactile.
Whatever. He's a knob half the time. So.
I swear we'll start talking about vape here in a second, guys.
Yeah, don't worry. We have to get through
surprised.
all the other shit first. We got to get all the other crap off the table.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised. So far, nobody in chat's asked where Brian is.
That's because they're all used to him not being
figured it
there.
out. They figured it out.
They're all like, "Fuck, I'm not gonna hedge my bets on Brian being there when the show starts. If he shows up, he'll be there."
We always appreciate you listening on your drive home, buddy. We always do. You're still an asshole.
Daniel, we're gonna talk. We'll talk about that stuff. So not much changes at the shop, but we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, you're still an asshole, Daniel. But we're gonna.
Daniel's not an asshole.
We're gonna attack him before he
he's our
attacks
favorite
us.
asshole.
We got to
not-
get him first. We got to get him
he-
first for once.
That's a false facade. Everybody just thinks he's an asshole, but he's not.
He's our favoron asshole.
Where Brian is. Where Brian
who?
be?
Brian
Where-
who?
what Brian be doing? Brian not in house.
That's good,
No,
Luke. He is feeding the goats, baby. That's what he's doing.
no,
Is that
I-
Victor? Victor with the link ain't working. I'm gonna guess it's Victor.
You got the link. Yeah, I don't know.
He said
how
link.
to
I'm gonna bet it's Victor.
Is it Victor?
I
I'm
thought
gonna
I
get
seen
him to
Victor
sign
on-
up.
Identify
the,
yourself, Facebook
Identify.
user. Identify yourself.
Thumbprint, please. Blood sample.
blood sacrifice.
So I asked the other group, and we'll ask you guys watching. What did you guys do with your 8 hours of no Facebook the other day?
I was at work.
You were at work, Tim.
I was
You
at
were at
work.
work.
No, Victor's there. He's
Facebook
on
was out?
YouTube. He's like, I learned about that link. That
Yeah.
link's a bunch of bullshit. I ain't
Oh, it's
clicking
Nick.
on it. Okay, it's Nick.
Resend it. Okay, that's got to be.
Oh, that link.
that. Yeah, let me.
That
send it.
link.
Let me
Yeah,
resend
that
it
special
to.
one.
Not the
You
identify
didn't
yourself
constantly
link.
check your phone, no, Tim, at all.
No, not really. I
wow.
be honest with you, I end up getting pulled away several times. Now it was down still when I was driving home, and I did notice that there was some issues, and I realized that Messenger was not working, and there was a bunch of other stuff. But you know what? It was probably good therapy for everybody.
I think
it was good. It was good that everybody realized what it's like not to be tethered to social media. Everybody ran to TikTok anyway. It didn't matter. Everybody found something to keep them occupied for a handful of
It's
hours.
the storm that it's got to be insane for Twitter. It's like Twitter goes up like 10 million fucking users within 5 seconds. Just
You're
to
right, Danny boy. It was Samson. Samson lost his strength when he lost his hair.
Samson.
I don't know why I always revert to Samson, David and
I went
Goliath.
I went Hercules for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, they all kind of had long
Yeah,
hair. But...
yeah, they kind of. I thought I remember seeing something in the movie.
Hercules.
Hercules. Oh, I resent it to you there, Nick. It should be good. I don't know why it didn't work the first time.
Look, don't blame me for your happy keyboard warrior hands, Curtis. If you want to get on Twitter and express yourself, I stand fully behind you. But I had nothing to do with you got. What'd you get? Did you get silenced? Shadow banned? Did you get blocked? Like what happened to you, man? You said you lost
details,
it.
man.
That didn't last long, did it?
Toasty made a handle. See a lot. I talked to a few people. They had the most productive day they've had in years, man.
I did the same thing I do every day. I went outside.
Yeah, it was nice not to hear that ting, 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 ting.
That's why you put your phone on vibrate.
Well, then it's just.
So we can't see the Facebook users because the names aren't coming through. So you'll have to identify yourself. But hello, Facebook user.
Hello, Facebook user. Oh wait,
Hello,
the
Facebook
Facebooker's
user.
here.
Well, no, this is a different one. This is
Oh, it's a
not.
different
This
one.
is not the mysterious Nick Orlando.
No, it's not. He's
No.
the,
He's
the
not that
legend. The
mysterious.
legend that he is, Nick Orlando.
I just can give him a swelled head.
Nick, what did you do with your Facebook downtime?
I enjoyed my life.
You enjoyed it, yeah? Did you look
Very
over and go,
much.
that's what my wife looks like?
I got work done,
You got work done. I had a few
and I didn't
people
have
that.
50 million Asians trying to sell me disposables.
Oh, yeah. You get those, huh? Oh, God, I can't imagine. I can imagine. I can imagine what your DMs look like that are not from friends. You know that what I call it, the stalker file is what I call it. Yeah, I go in there every
Crazy
now and
friend
then.
requests.
Yeah, friends request. It's that chat that's not part of the chat. I call it the stalker folder. And I went in there the other day, and it was all for dating sites. I'm like, why? Why are you guys sending me this?
Apparently, they're trying to tell you something, John.
Yeah, I'm
They're-
doing just.
I don't get
They're
that. I
listening
get that.
to you.
Yeah, I get that in the friend request area. I get all
Yeah.
these. It's a stupid thing. Every 2 minutes, there's some rando account with some picture of some woman that's not really there, and I'm like, delete.
Do you at least every now and then do you go to the page to check it out? Go ahead, Nick.
No,
I was just gonna say, what's up, Curtis?
Yeah, I check
no,
them out.
I don't go there anymore. I do check it to make sure it is one of those goofy accounts.
Oh, okay.
But they're always the same. I've created a page for boys and men for sex. Something. I don't know. It's something stupid. And I'm like, delete.
Delete.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nick is the new Brian.
It is Brian without hair.
Just imagine the straight little thing he's coming down.
Without an eyebrow piercing. By the
Go
way.
like this,
No eyebrow
Nick.
piercing.
Go
Yeah,
like
you do.
this, like you're fixing your hair, and then people think you're. See, there it is.
There it is.
There's
There it
Brian.
is.
Brian's in the house.
Yeah.
Only
So
difference
that link
is
didn't work, man. I don't know what's going on with it. That was weird.
So you're right, Curtis. I think the new disposables, they're all starting to look like slap mods from friggin' what's the mech mod guy? What's that mech mod company?
what
Which
was
one?
The one that they send it to you in like a flight case. The plastic
Purge?
like ballistic bag, huh?
Oh,
Purge.
Purge,
Yeah,
Purge.
the disposables are now approaching Purge slap mod girth.
if you remember, what they're starting to go back to, which is hilarious, is the old Aspire remember the Aspire, the big fat Aspire batteries that we used to get for the tanks? Nick, you remember those? I don't
Yes.
remember. I think it was just an 18.
They were like carbon fiber.
Yeah. They're starting to get that fucking
what it's
big.
called.
I forget what they are. They were
Well, now
hot.
they got boxes out. They have boxes out now.
Yeah.
Like 18.5 mils of juice in a disposable.
And a disposable.
Crazy,
I mean, that's
dude.
not a bad idea if you think about it. I mean,
No, I mean people are digging them, especially so disposables in Florida are really popular because if they're in California, Michigan, whatever, and they're here on vacation, it's like they go to the beach, they want a disposable. Like they pop in a shop and they're asking me for all these weird disposables. I'm like, what the hell is that thing? I don't even know.
oh, it's Phil.
That's
Phil
not.
DeMont.
That's Halloween.
It's Halloween, bro.
Halloween.
Yeah.
What is Nick? Nick, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Hey, I got-
FDA executive?
No, I'm gonna be Baby New Year. I'm gonna shave all this. And I'll be Baby New Year. I'm gonna run around in a diaper.
Yeah.
I have a dad joke, a Halloween dad joke. for
Hit us
everybody.
with it. Hit us with it.
I learned this joke on the show Wonderama when I was probably about 12 years old. So what do you call a hot dog with all the meat taken out of it?
Ooh, I don't know. Tube.
A Halloweenie.
Halloweeny. Oh, wait.
There you go.
You get it. You get
Do
it.
I get it? I want
You
it.
get it.
Woo! Get my buddy Rich Rimshot. There you go. You can tell that one to your kids.
Yeah,
You
that's
can tell
the
that one
same.
to your
I can
kids.
tell that
That's
one
the
to
same.
Aiden. I can tell that one to
You can
Aiden.
go upstairs
There you go.
while the party's happening and tell it to your 70-year-old
Who
relative.
the hell
up
put
there.
Parrot Bay on my stuff? You, John?
What's that?
Did you do that? Did you
Do
put
what?
Parrot Bay on my thing?
No,
I
you
don't
did
think-
My
that.
tag?
You have to do that, man.
You
I
you
didn't
can
do
change
that.
it anytime
Parrot
you want.
Bay.
Yeah, you can change it.
Yeah, you
No,
just
I
go to
think
those
John-
three
I
dots.
think Brian did that shit.
No,
I don't think I
it
did
has to
that.
be you. It has to be you. You have. You
No
can
way,
change
dude.
it. You see those three dots down there on the bottom by your name, by your picture,
Uh-huh.
your video. You click that, and you can,
Yeah.
and it says edit name, and then you can put whatever you like in there. I know you want to put Brady's a god down there or something like that.
Goat. He just wants to put goat.
Goat. Straight up
I'm gonna
goat.
put Jameis sucks.
Well, to us, you're the goat of the vape industry. So you
You are.
can.
Thanks.
All right, the goat of the state of Florida. Is that better?
Goat.
The goat.
The
No.
You don't want to be the goat?
You don't want to be a Florida goat?
Florida goat.
No.
Yeah. How far south do you have to go?
I just own a vape shop, man.
How far
I'm a
south
simple man.
and west do you have to go to start seeing goats in Florida?
Wild goats or just farm animals?
There's
Farm
goats
animals.
in goats in
Goats in
every state,
general.
John.
They're all over
Goats
the
in
place,
every
folks.
state. Everybody's got their pets now.
Everybody's got a pet, some exotic pet. Pigs, goats, snakes, man. You know, fuck.
Gators.
Wait, there's another dad joke coming. I can feel it. What did one wall say to the other wall?
No
Where do
idea,
you-
Luke.
Lay it on us, Luke.
See if you get the You guys don't let me know if he's worthy of it. You got a dad joke?
I'll see you in the corner.
No.
What did one fly say to the other fly?
Bada boom.
Bada
Yeah,
boom.
he did. What did one fly say to the other fly?
I don't know.
Your man is down.
Your man.
Okay, let's talk about vaping. That's more important, right?
We're going to do something a little different tonight. Tim is going to start the show with news and advocacy.
Right.
And I'm going to give Tim his bumper.
Yes, sirree, Bob. We're gonna do a little news right now, right there in front of the show, y'all. Here, you gonna get me up. You gonna get your news on. Go get your seat up here on the back of the pickup. We're gonna do some news. We're gonna tell you some. We're gonna do some newsing. We're gonna do some newsing right here, right now, right here on the Wednesday Night Live show. I'm gonna tap me some papers.
What is
hold
that?
on,
How
hold
do they
on.
say it?
Hold on. We gotta prepare. We gotta prepare the table. We gotta do some tapping. All right. So there's some important stuff to talk about tonight. One's more of like an opinion piece. The second part, I think, is something that we do need to talk about and we need to address. It has sort of surfaced in the last 24 hours, and we need to talk about it, which is going to lead me into my advocacy piece and why advocacy is still a very important part of this whole entire enchilada that we enjoy called vaping. So all the little negatives doesn't mean that you just throw the towel in. So it's doom and gloom is here and upon us, but we do need to reinforce the advocacy piece. So let's talk about the FDA for a hot minute. Let me share. Visual aids.
I need pop-ups, Tim.
Visual aids.
Pop-ups.
Yes. Okay, and then I shall enlarge in this for everybody. Oh, it's already at 150. Can you all see that? Is this thing on? Can everybody see? Can everybody see that? Good. All right. All right. So this I thought was an interesting opinion piece. It was actually shared amongst the WNL crew, and it does bring up a very interesting point in that it addresses a statistic and a figure that we talk about quite often, and something that's been kind of prevalent only because a lot of the anti-tobacco organizations and the anti-vaping organizations in general will like to throw out the whole youth epidemic, right? Everything, I don't know. We live in this very climatized environment where politically everything is a pandemic, epidemic, something. It's an ick of some kind, and so. Yes, in the vaping realm, it is a youth epidemic. The kids are just, running around with disposables in their faces all day long. So the FDA, and this one was aptly entitled, the FDA is determined to ignore the decline in underage vaping because it weakens the case for new restrictions. And I do think that is a big part of why they still persist with these twisted statistics and convoluted data points that kind of take a number and turn it the other way to sort of use it as a weapon as opposed to looking at the positive side of the statistic, which is being recognized in the last few years specifically. So according to the latest results from the National Youth Tobacco Survey, 11% of high school students qualified as current e-cigarette users, meaning they reported use of e-cigarettes in the previous month. Now, let's be clear on what that means, maybe not precisely, but in general, right? Just because a teenager or a high school student, 9 through 12, I don't know how it's structured anymore. I'm old, so it could be 10 through 12 now, okay? I'm not quite sure. But just because they report that they've used e-cigarettes in the last month does not mean that that's daily usage, right? That's just, have you used an e-cigarette in the last 30 days? And that could literally be, hey, man, I got this disposable from my bro, man, and it's this really killer grape. You should try it. And then the friend's like, okay, man. And they hit it one time, and that's it. And they're like, oh, it's gross. It's nasty. Vaping's gross. Blech. And then they go and they take the survey for the National Youth Tobacco Survey, and they say yes to that question. They vaped in the last 30 days. They tried it one time. That doesn't mean that these are everyday users, right? So that 11% doesn't even quantify the precise. What haunted house are we in? What the heck is going on? Did you all hear that creaky door? Is there an entity in this room?
No, that would be Aiden John's.
That's probably my door.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have an
gotta be
entity in your
John's.
house. You have an entity in your house.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
put some.
muted.
I'll put some olive oil on that.
Go get
door.
some WD-40. You're interrupting my
You
news.
don't put WD-40 on the door.
I don't know. Italian homes are jacked up. You guys have
ZG.
weird rules.
ZG,
You got
man.
weird rules. Okay. All right. So anyway, but that 11% doesn't quantify the actual percentage of youths that are vaping on a regular, right? So that number is probably wicked lower than 11%. Okay. But this result is down 20% from last year's New York. I always want to say New York because it's NY. National Youth Tobacco Survey, down 20% down from 2020 and 28% since 2019. Which, if you total it all up, it's almost a 60% drop over the past 3 years. So that's pretty significant. So when you want to quantify this as an epidemic, if you take where we were in 2019 when the kids were a little bit more experimental, and it's dropped significantly since then. The FDA and CDC are starkly ignoring this trend and statistic, as it would undermine the effort to put more restrictions and potential bans on e-liquid flavors that adults prefer. So they're just going to flat out, they're looking at it. They know that number is what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it not the CDC or is it the FDA that actually conducts the National Youth Tobacco Survey? One of the two does. I thought it said it. I
think it's the
here.
CDC.
Okay, you're
Testing.
probably right. You're probably right. Yes, we can hear you. And your creaky fucking door.
No. I was using my boom mic, so it can pick up ants having sex. So
Oh, okay. Well, then we don't need to listen to that.
I switched it for you.
All right. So what these organizations like to do is they'll take that number, however that equates to the total number of students presumed that are the 11%, and they'll flip that number on its lid, right? So then now they'll just turn around and they'll say, despite the statistical facts, the CDC prefers to emphasize numbers differently, in that it is reported as 2.06 million youths were estimated to be current e-cigarette users. This means even trying it once in the last 30 days. So they'll take that number and they'll conflate it. So then it looks like this massive number of children and kids that are currently vaping, and that's the number that they'll now throw out into the propaganda maelstrom, and that's what gets utilized and pushed around in the machine. So rather than look at it from the positive side or the positive element in which it's the reality, they'll just take the other number and they'll use that to their advantage. So, and the reason why they want to ignore the actual good news is because if they acknowledge it, then it sort of undermines the whole argument that they're trying to make, that it's a youth epidemic. So I've lost my place. There's my bullet point. Therefore, the FDA still likes to use this method of translation that state the youth e-cigarette use remains a serious public health concern. The FDA in the past has acknowledged the harm reduction potential of e-cigarettes. I think it's even on their website somewhere that they acknowledged that e-cigarettes were a much better alternative to smoking overall. The CDC also takes the position that this is the other thing. This is where they like to say that this statistic really doesn't even hold a lot of value because now they're going to use the C word, right? So that's the other argument that they like to use besides the C in CDC, or the two C's in CDC. They take the position comparing data in 2021 to 2020 would be misleading due to the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the New York Tobacco Survey lack of access to the same survey participants, right? So now you've got kids in two different places. So one where the survey was basically delivered to youths in a school setting. Now they're trying to gather that data from kids that are doing home study or going to school primarily from a distance learning perspective, as opposed to the kids that were actually allowed to go back to school. And they're making the argument that when they take that particular survey data in terms of answering those questions authentically and truthfully, they said that there could be variables in the survey that could skew the data. And that would be examples like kids at home might not answer the survey more factually or truthfully than, say, kids in school.
Right.
Probably because their parents are around, they understand that they're getting ready to take this survey because the parents obviously have a little bit better of a microscope into their kids' lives when they're they're getting schooled from home, so they have to be on their little Zoom calls all day long, and they're probably more aware of what the kids are doing. So if they realize their kid's taking part in a youth tobacco survey, the kid's probably not likely to admit that he vaped, as opposed to a kid in school who, yes, John.
I don't know if you know, but maybe Nick knows. How did those kids get this survey? Oh, he jumped off. It doesn't say. That's what I'm wondering. Is it something that has to be? Does the school have to okay this survey? Because they're not handing this survey to them at schools, are they? That's what I was wondering.
Well, they're claiming that the kids are actually taking the survey at school.
How did the kids what, John? I'm sorry.
How did the kids get this survey? Does the school have to ask the parents for an okay for them to do this survey, or is this just something that they just hand out to these kids during class? That's what I'm wondering. How are these kids getting this test?
It's my understanding that it is administered by the CDC in groups. They don't just roll it out in a classroom setting and say, "Hey guys, fill this out." I think it's targeted to the students by the CDC. It's in a controlled environment type of thing, or what they perceive as controlled. So,
because that's what I was wondering, because when Tim was reading this, I started to remember what I was thinking a few weeks ago is how are these kids getting this test? I mean, this form.
Look, it's
because don't you need parents' consent for anytime any of your kids do anything sort of like this? I mean, they'd have to get some sort of parents' consent.
You should get it, but if it's based on a public school board,
public health,
do those little surveys.
Okay.
I don't think they need a general release sign for anything like that.
So basically they're just going to the bike rack section and the kids hanging out at the dugouts and just finding the right kids to sign this that are going to.
Yeah, and the key thing here is it's got to be anonymous and not get their name and date of birth and all that. So
right.
That's a very, that's a key factor in the whole thing. It's just an anonymous, hey, we got this group of kids, this age group. Hey, fill this out. We don't want your name or anything or, race or anything like that. We just want this question answered. So it's just a polling type of thing.
Okay.
So they can get away with it. I want to see the ones that the results that say how many adults have tried vapor and how many have quit smoking using vapor and those things. That's the result I want to see.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen one of those yet.
Yeah. All right, Tim. Sorry.
You're fine.
I was kind of curious about that.
Valid point. It's a good question because I think there's in a lot of cases when you see these random controlled trials and surveys and things like that, you really don't know how they isolate or select the individuals for that particular survey. It just says that they surveyed 2,500 people. Well, how did you pick those 2,500 people? I mean, in what environment did you discover that these people potentially may have been vapors or not vapors or were smokers, and it could be that they just pay some idiot to sit there on the street corner with a clipboard and they just kind of watch people walk by, and if they're smoking or vaping, you've been to the airport a million times and you always get walked up on while you're sitting there and waiting for your plane.
Yeah.
So,
they do a lot of them in front of stores. So I was just wondering if that's what was going on as well.
They could be standing out front of convenience stores or standing out front of vape shops. We don't know. I mean, I would hope that the good vape shop owners would see that and be like, "Get the fuck out of the front of my store! I didn't give you permission to stand here and solicit. Get out of here,
right.
you freaking punk! Go back to your Lion University." Anyway, the CDC footnote in the most recent survey states that 15% of students who took the survey in school reported e-cigarette use, which is 23% lower than 2020 and 45% lower than 2019. So again, there's a dramatic decline in e-cigarette use within the youth culture, probably because they're kind of over it now. They had their fun with it, and now they're looking for the next thing to get them a buzz. And I don't believe that the kids are just generally turning into regular vapors, because most of them probably started vaping or at least tried it, and they weren't even smokers to begin with, right? So everything tends to pass. Whatever was hot and cool 5-6 months ago is boring, and you're a poser 6 months later. So as soon as kids start getting bullied and made fun of, or they're not doing the cooler thing, they're gonna jump off that wagon. It is important to note that changes in methodology do not explain the 29% drop in current e-cigarette use by students between 2019 and 2020. And I think that's the other argument that they were making in this article, that they can claim that they can't compare the number from 2021 to 2020 because of COVID, but you can't deny the results from the 2019 to 2020 differential, simply because that was not necessarily in the era of COVID, and kids were still at school and still doing their thing. So to try to say that COVID is affecting those results and not telling a true story, you still can't deny the decline from 2019 to 2020. But again, the CDC is ignoring that fact when they're communicating it. So I wanted to read one final statement in all of this. There was just a little bit more yammer as you go down into this stuff that we kind of already know. Mitch Zeller and his canned responses about the FDA continuing to take action with regard to the PMTA. It seemed like this opinion piece may have come out probably, I don't know when it was published. Let's see. I feel like it was recent. It was this month, right?
Yeah, September 1st.
Yeah, but they kind of revert back to verbiage and communication that was around the time that the PMTAs weren't. They don't mention the MDOs yet already in this article. They just state that that businesses were going to have to stand up to the PMTA regulations and those rejected or declined applications. I just wanted to read this comment from Amanda Wheeler. I think it was
right there.
Yeah,
Tim.
it's right there. Yeah, I just was making sure. For years, this is from Amanda Wheeler, president of the American Vapor Manufacturers Association, AVMA. For years, enemies of vapor products and their enablers in the press have worked to the benefit of big tobacco and trying to regulate our products out of existence. Federal regulators routinely downplay or purposefully spin their own research to prop up an alarmist narrative based on a mirage, and deep-pocketed anti-vaping activist groups continue to ignore or conceal the large-scale public health benefits of our products. Some in our government and our paternalistic activist class seem hell-bent on outlawing the single most effective smoking cessation method ever devised. It's going to drive millions of people back to smoking and cost countless lives. And frankly, it's despicable. And it really is. I mean, when you consider how they do twist the narrative to still make it seem like there's this horrible youth epidemic, when that's not the truth at all, they just really are just hell bent on ending vaping in general. They're ignoring facts, and they're just trying to take it down. My takeaway on that article was denial, denial, denial. Continued denial of basic facts and statistical data regarding youth usage trends only further substantiate the reality that the outcome is driven by lobbyist money. Back pocket money, MSA, to BT lobbyists and stuff like that. So at any rate, you're probably never going to see them admit that they were wrong. They're just going to keep pushing forward with the narrative as they currently would like to use it. Any commentary on that? Anybody, anything extra to add to these lying bastards?
There's not much we can do anymore.
Well, I mean, I think we can continue to fight. I think
No. Don't get me wrong. We can continue to fight, but it just seems like, God. I mean, I don't know how frustrated Nick is, but I'm sure seeing it every day is just frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, what we needed to start doing a long time ago that we can start now is changing the the public optics of this whole technology that we use, right? And it's going to take a lot now that we've passed all these years, instead of starting way back then and just kind of ignoring the fact that we needed to come out in a bigger, broader scale to be bigger than the Pave Moms and the ants and all them. We just kind of let it go and let it roll, and we scream in our little bubble in our echo chamber. That's not right. We're being, we're the victim, blah, blah, blah. We needed to get out in front and change that optic right out of the gate. Now, that being said, it costs money. So retailers, manufacturers, consumers, whoever need to fund that. And there may be something coming on the horizon that we can all get behind. And every little penny that we can put into it will help and start this ball rolling to change these optics. Is it too late? I don't have that answer. Nobody has that answer. But if we don't start, we're going to be another 5 years down the road going, man, we should have started. We're already 10 years out and we didn't start it. So at what point do we say, okay, we have to change it? And if we want this to be around, right? Not for us, because I'm sure everybody on here and the majority of the people in the thread can get these products one way or another. So it's not about us. It's never been about me. It's always been about that smoker, the 40 million out there that I keep referring to. It's about it being around for them. It's about being around for generations to come that will not, do not, and have not tried this product. And they'll continue to die from tobacco-related illness. And that's the real thing, right? So until we start getting the truth out there and pay to have the truth communicated on a much broader scale than in our little circles, it will not change. And the time is coming to do that. We'll have that opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's coming soon, but we need to be ready to hit the go button, and everybody needs to go as best they can. And that's our Hail Mary. If that doesn't work, then we're done. But it's got to work because we got to get it started. We have to. I mean, 10 years ago, we got to get it started.
Why is it that we're so afraid to share that knowledge within our own personal inner circle? Is it still the stigma of smoking? Or do we feel like what I'm trying to say? Does the vapor feel like he's still smoking and doesn't want to share the knowledge that he has with his inner circle, his family, his coworkers?
We need to get it past those people that already know that, and to the people that don't know it.
Well, that's what we stress. We stress to everybody on this show to start with your family. Start with your family.
But a lot of times, our family is overwhelmed with misinformation, right? I mean, all you got to do is turn on the TV most times, or look up vaping on the internet, and you see it's bad, it's worse than smoking and all that other stuff. We need to, I don't know that educating.
How do we change that? Because okay, what my aunt does, she's a nurse and she's all for me after I shared the information. But the first thing she said to me was, when I started vaping, the first thing she did was typed in vape in Google. And she said, you literally have to go 2 pages deep to find anything positive right off the bat. So yeah, exactly. And I've never done that. I never just typed in vape into Google, because usually I'm looking for a specific vape shop or a specific product. I never just type in vape, but I was shocked when I typed in just vape and what came up.
The one thing you see on the other side is unity, right? What we've always had is division, and everybody wants to pick a side. Okay, I'm talking from an advocacy side, right? We always see it. This group is better than that group. That group's better than this. We've never had unity, right? It's something that, the groups I mentioned earlier all have unity. They all have that same message. Youth vaping, youth access, this, that. They all got that same message. And our guys are all over the place. Like, I want to back this group because they're fighting this, and I want to back that group because of this, or I don't like the way they comb their hair, or I don't like their beard, or I don't like this, or it's always, let's pick a side. Well, that's been our own problem, right? All the infighting, all the division, we've never come together. And until we make that happen, which is something where I'm working very hard on right now, very hard, and trying to get everybody in the same room and have a conversation. And a lot of us in these groups on a federal level are very open to it, and they're moving in a positive direction. And I think it's what's going to work. But we haven't had that in the past.
Yeah.
Everybody's had their own agenda about this, that, or the other thing, and a lot of times it has to do with passion in the industry, and having somebody in this industry that has the passion and the knowledge and the resources to really make this work, versus having us be a client. Okay? When we're a client, we're just a client, and sometimes it's better to keep that fight going, because then you lose a paycheck.
Right.
If you end the fight, you lose the money, right?
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
And if you have passion, like you guys, you're going to fight and fight and fight and fight, and you got no skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just going to keep fighting to tell the truth, because it's going to help future generations. So all these things considered, I think that, again, in the very near future, we're going to be able to work in a direction in one cohesive unit, unified, to get some stuff done.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about family members, go ahead.
So my question is this then. So do you think that's only going to happen when we sort of like reach the rock bottom, lowest point of the fight? I mean, in terms of everybody's opinion. So what I mean is, yeah, we've had, sort of the wall kind of crumble a little bit from a state perspective, and a ban here or a restriction there or something like that. And like, that was just sort of like, the beginning of it all. And now we're really getting to where the federal government has now really started to throw down the hammer between taxes and PMTAs and all these other things that, they're kind of really about to kind of, put us on our heels severely. I feel like, me personally, it's when it really reaches its darkest moment that people are going to want to be cohesive. Before, they didn't give a shit. It was like pick sides, pick sides, pick sides.
We got to remember, well, first of all, people, when we're talking about the industry versus the people that we have that the voices are heard, right? Let's face it, we don't get heard, but the people that we have working for us are the ones that know how to navigate through and get heard, and we pay them to do that.
Right.
So I think it's come to a time where people are like, yeah, this is our Hail Mary. And if you want to be a part of it, then join us and do it, or be that guy that I call out on social media saying, these people didn't want to be a part of it. This group does. So let's support this group of people.
Right.
And let's move forward. So yes, it's Hail Mary time. And I think the biggest difference you see now is based on the MDOs. It's not just a particular sized manufacturer.
Right.
It's no longer the little small to medium mom and pop manufacturers versus the big manufacturers. They all got the MDOs, and they all are cookie cutter, and they're all the same. And people are going, oh, damn, I spent millions. This company spent 50,000, and they got the same damn letter. This is a problem.
Yeah.
So things are really getting to the point where it's eye-opening now.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Yeah, go ahead, Tommy.
Let's take the FDA, all pave.
Careful now.
Pretty much everybody that's anti-vaping, either out behind a woodshed and just whoop their asses.
I knew he was going there.
Or go more like an Old West style. And I'm not going to go any further down that because I don't need another strike.
Yeah, right? I mean, yeah, Tom. Yeah, first time you visit my page.
We can't get near them. So,
well, you hit the nail on the head. In the beginning, there was the battle between manufacturers, online sites, and shops, and each one of them had a point in the beginning. But you'd have to assume 8 years have gone by. They have to realize what's happening. It's not going to matter whether you're a manufacturer or you're a distributor or you're a shop or you're an online sales. We're not going to have a product. So, to me, I hate, as a conservative, capitalism is capitalism. But at some point, you would think I'm going to say this, and the people that were in it for the right reason, Nick, that you know who I'm talking about, that were in it to save lives, and it wasn't really that much about the profit, but getting this product in the right people's hands. Is that what's left right now, or is it the people that are capitalism? If this doesn't work, I'll just move to CBD and marijuana and Delta 8, and that's
Well,
what
that's
I'm going to do.
you see that going on, right, from the first purge. Then you saw the letter purge, and it's been purge after purge since 8 of 16, and it's slowly slimming down, and they're changing their gears and moving, or 70% of this alternative products and 30% of where we started, just to put food on the table, right? So you can't fault
Yeah,
them for that. But at the end of the day, there's people who have lost a lot of money and spent a lot of money to try to maintain what we have going on. And I think as we move through this, some of those 30 percenters we're going to reach out to and say, hey, it's time to join the party and go with it and see if we can salvage something out of this in a responsible, respectful manner and make things happen. But it's going to take some time, but
yeah,
it's going to take a lot of money. But I think, within the next 7 to 14 days, I'll probably be able to have something for you guys that we can get behind and actually push. And
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
hopefully, as our Hail Mary, there's no guarantees in anything, but we've got to change the public optics. We've not done that. After
yeah,
all the money that has been spent, after all the time and energy put into PMTAs and PACT Act information and everything, all of that's dead if we have
Yep.
no products.
yeah.
So we got to change the image first, right? And that's where it starts. And we should have started that way back, but nobody
Years
wanted
ago.
to get behind it. They were too busy making money. It was too
Quick
easy.
question: could CASA do their own survey with children, high school
Anybody can
kids?
do a survey, but they got
Can
to be, first
CASA?
of all, they got to get approval.
They got to get approval. Okay, that's what I was. It's the permit thing. You want to
Well,
protest. You need a permit.
right. Well, you guys had Matthew on here, right? From MVA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matthew
yeah,
and his group, when they needed to, just like when Florida needs to, you bring children in front and talk to them. But those
yeah,
parents are consenting and the children go
yeah,
up and talk. It's
yeah.
kind of the same thing. It would take a lot of vape parents to be able to do something like that. But then we'd get accused of planning who did the survey. We don't just get an
Right.
open forum like everybody else does because we don't have the bucks to back it.
Well, yeah, because I asked my cousin, who's a freshman in high school, and I asked her. I said, I don't want to make you a snitch. I said, but I want to know: do you see people in your school walking around with vape stuff? And she goes, no, I've never seen anyone pull a vape device out in on campus ever. And for when, and she's a popular girl, cheerleader, all that, and she's just straight up. I go, look, I'm not going to get you in trouble. I'm not going to go looking for these people. I just want your honest opinion. Do you see people carrying vape devices, or do you see them using them off campus? Or she goes, no. She goes, I've never seen anyone pull out a vape device. And I don't know if that's just, within her school or how it works in some of the other schools, but she said she's never seen anyone in
I
her
just think
camp.
that that's indicative of the number that
Yeah.
the actual data that indicates a stark decline over the last 3 years in youth usage. She just isn't seeing it. Doesn't mean that they aren't doing it,
Right.
but she isn't seeing it, which gleans a little bit towards the fact that if it was such an epidemic and it was so far and widespread, she would have seen it.
Yeah.
She
At
would
least
have seen
one.
it in small circles, regardless of who the friend pool is. I mean, I don't care if you come from the most goody two shoes group of kids in high school. There's always one.
There's always
There's
one.
always the one that's the black sheep or the risk taker
Yeah.
that's willing to push the envelope a little bit further than all the other ones. And if she's not seeing that, then that just tells me that it's not as rampant as they'd like to make it out to be.
Hey, Tom, you need your AARP card to get that discount on ZampleBox.
No, I was talking to replying to Daniel saying he was coming
Yeah.
back.
No, I was just wondering if if CASA could actually do that same similar type of survey and have something to back up or their data against the FDA or the CDC's data. But it's this. I know,
the data that's out though is not bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it shows a youth decrease in uptake of vapor products.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, looking at those numbers, it had a lot to do with COVID, and I'm just being real.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not denying that the landscape from a vaping perspective with kids probably did change pretty dramatically due to the fact that a lot of them were stuck at home and couldn't get away with the same murder that they would have normally gotten away with, only because they were under the watchful eye of their parents and they couldn't hang with their friends or go out at night and do, sneaky little shit.
But they're smoking mommy and daddy cigarettes. Don't be fooled.
Oh no! And they're probably
Jack and
drinking the liquor in the cabinets too. I mean, they're not
That would be a
completely.
survey.
Hey,
How
Tim,
many of
I'm
you
kind of.
took alcohol and cigarettes during your during the COVID times? How many of you tried that in the last 30 days?
Oh, we've had 3. We had no. Let me repeat. 4 new liquor stores open up in my area in the last 2 years. 4.
Yep.
4, and one took out a restaurant, a very popular Mexican restaurant. It's gone now. It's called Liquor World, and it's just wall to wall liquor, no beer. It's just straight up friggin' whiskey, bourbons.
Hey, they got to prepare for that next generation that they've just addicted to alcohol during COVID lockdown.
It's that old saying, recession. What are the 3 main things that always take off during a recession? Gambling, alcohol, and drugs, right? Or tobacco. I guess you could put tobacco in there. Alcohol, drugs, and drug. Alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. Prostitution.
I guess you know a lot about that, John.
Well, no, you look throughout U.S. history, the 3 things that always consistently make money during a recession is prostitution, alcohol, and drugs. Those are the 3 things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just,
Sin stuff they call it or something.
Yeah,
I forget what they call it. They call it something.
Yeah, I mean, as a former cop, you know what I'm talking about.
There was never a downtime for those things, by the way.
Yeah, I got a worst case scenario here. I kind of want to throw this out there and get your opinion, Nick. But worst case scenario, do we have any fight in this battle that would take us to the Supreme Court?
I think yes.
Yeah. I know we tried, right?
Yeah.
I think we tried a couple years
Well, there
back.
was the lawsuits that were out there, the moose juice stuff.
Right.
There's
There
still
was that
going.
where
There's new ones now.
There's
Yeah.
new ones.
You're seeing it roll out. There's appeals and there's lawsuits. And those are going in certain districts as we speak. There's, I think, 5 districts that have current lawsuits right now. So, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's because
And they're looking for amici. They're looking for people to sign on to amicus briefs. So there may be some retailers and manufacturers signing on to those. So the list is long, as well as state organizations and consumers. So as we get that going, the information will be rolled out, and it'll come from, Casal will have some stuff, and our group and myself, I'll be putting stuff out on it. But from a retailer standpoint, amicus briefs and things like that, or amicus briefs, will be filed along with these lawsuits that are currently in play.
Yeah, because I mean that's the final say. I mean that's pretty much the final straw.
There's already 5 of them out there, and it's going to build from there. They're going from every district court that they can get right now. So
right. But once the Supreme Court rules, it's pretty much a done deal. So
it's very sensitive that right now individuals, manufacturers have to file those that receive the MDO.
Yeah.
When that gets to that point, it may be all combined depending on how they want to handle it.
Right.
So it's really touchy on how they're handling things right now, because there's experts out there that myself and others go out and kind of figure out what the landscape looks like. Yeah. And right now, the best first part is do your appeal, do a lawsuit, those that can afford it, in individual districts as we can get it, and then hopefully they put it all together, and everybody can get on the amicus briefs and tag onto that. So it could be pretty big, depending on how this rolls out and what steps it takes through the process.
Do you think there's any grounds to substantiate those lawsuits even further based on the MDOs that were issued and the fact that the FDA kind of came out post the PMTA MDO submissions and kind of quote unquote finalized the rules around how the scientific validations were kind of rolled out? There was another statement by Amanda Wheeler that I was going to bring up that was part of a let me find it here. It was an AVM post.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, so I happened to catch it right before the show, and I thought it was worthy to talk about, where Amanda Wheeler made another public. Sure.
Thank you.
Well, yes, sir.
Hey.
That's a little much.
All right, so everybody, quit laughing at my post from an hour and a half.
Hey, go back to the girl.
Hold on.
Go back to the girl.
Anyway,
John wants to friend request her.
Yeah.
So Amanda Wheeler made another comment, and she said it is an insult to the American public that the FDA thinks it can just make up compliance tests long after the process is over and countless companies and consumers have already been turned into criminals. The real world harm is bankruptcies of innumerable small businesses, the destruction of the single most effective smoking cessation method ever devised, and millions of Americans returning to cigarettes. But she brings up an important point and something that multiple people have brought up, and that is that the FDA kind of came out with sort of a published set of how the compliancy tests and the rules worked, and it was after everything was already done. So how could anybody adhere to the rule if they didn't know what the rule was? So I sort of feel like there's some grounds for some of these lawsuits to have something to stand on. If they're saying, well, they're being issued an MDO and they were told that they didn't pass this particular set of criteria when they didn't even really know what the criteria was to begin with. Yet now they want to say what that criteria was.
A lot of those criteria a lot of these letters were hinged on the fact of one of the questions being, or one of the components being clinical trials. And the thought process is that you would get in, there would be so many that we had time to do clinical trials.
Right.
Well, that backfired because all they did was punch in their little bots and say, which one of these has clinical trials? And everybody else got an MDO right out of the gate. And then they took the ones in clinical trials and looked a little deeper.
Yeah. So
they made it easy, right? Because let's face it, the FDA, I'm sure they got these little bots that they just punch in who's complete, and it pulls up, and everybody else got an MDO. So they made it simple on themselves. Now, this is secondary to that they came out with it and said, well, now here's the guidance. Well, the problem is that those that did not get those MDOs can still receive guidance and have liaisons with the FDA and are currently working through a lot of these things if you didn't receive an MDO.
Right.
So there's constant communication from the manufacturer to the FDA, and they're still working through the process. So not everybody got one, and some that did are still working through the process because they submitted some type of trial, but it wasn't fully 100%. So they kicked back and said, hey, we're sending you an MDO, but continue the trials, and here's what you need to do. I mean, it's crappy the way they did it, right?
Yeah.
And those that got it based on this do have a leg to stand on. So there are so many levels to the BS that happened,
right?
That as you're in there as a manufacturer, you can just pick this out and pick it apart, and a good attorney will just rip them up. That's why you're seeing these submissions of litigation at such a high level now, and you'll see more and more as we move through this. You'll see more litigation going through, but is that going to be an automatic switch where everything's cool, we're sorry? No, it's not. It's going to be a long fight. So
I think
all these cases, they're just violent.
Yeah. I think people need to realize that some of these places that didn't get through it right here at this beginning, these are major labs. I mean, this isn't a lab that's in somebody's garage. These are ISO labs that are certified. They make they make products for many other people. This isn't just your mom and pop thing. These are real legitimate
And some people,
labs.
John,
Yeah.
it needs to be noted that some of these spent 30, upwards of $50 million
Yeah.
for their submissions that they received an MDO, cookie cutter MDO on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. These
That's
are
a
huge
lot
facilities.
of money.
Yeah, I mean these guys could be, these are places that could be making a product right now that you have in your house, you know.
Well,
Not
yeah.
not just e-liquid.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that these labs knew what they were doing. They helped a lot of Andy. I'm sure that a lot of these labs help these manufacturers get this paperwork done and completed in the proper way. And it's just got to be heartbreaking when you know you did everything correctly and you get that letter in the mail. It's got to be heartbreaking. My question to you, though, the ones that got the okays already, they're not guaranteed. They're still
Nobody got an okay.
nope. Nobody got an okay.
Let me make
They've
that very
gotten
clear.
passes. Some have gotten passes, right?
To date, they did not get an MDO. That's the way it's being looked at.
That's
Nobody got a
it.
pass. Nobody got an okay. They did not get an MDO yet.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I'm going to throw out a name. Barista Brew Co. They're posting that everything is a-okay with them so far.
There you go.
Basically, that means shit.
The key word there is so far.
So far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're probably not lying. I mean, if they didn't get an MDO, everything's okay. But here's the other side of it. A lot of these guys are switching to non-tobacco derived nicotine, and they're okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to say hi to Drop Bears. I see them in the chat, but I can't chat. I don't know what's going on. But
I hate putting them right on the spot, but I'm going to. How's that? Not that I love these guys, but I mean, this is what they've got, and they've posted this on their Instagram page. I don't know if you can see that, Nick. I can't.
I can see it.
I can't blow it up. So,
who is this?
This is Barista Brew Co.
I can't read it. It's too tiny.
It says, they completed the primary review of the PMTAs and determined that these applications meet the filing requirements for the new tobacco product seeking a marketing order under Section 910B of the FDA. Is this their thing of basically saying they're ready for the step 2, or I don't know I don't know how many steps there are.
There's a lot of steps. It's almost like the 12-step program, it seems. But
sorry, Wesley, if you're watching, Wesley, I apologize. But I had to put you on the spot. They posted this. They posted this on September 2nd. They got the letter March 8th.
Oh, but the MDOs were rather recent.
March 8th was the submission. The other one you had was August. So March
this one's
8th,
August 23rd.
Everybody got that one. Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
This one here, I mean, they might be working through it. Regulatory requirements, including those. So they might be going on to testing.
So it's this process testing. I don't know the whole thing. I'm sure you know the whole procedure. I'm sure there's quite a few steps to it. But this is a big step for them.
HPHC testing, harmful constituents testing is the one that they have to do. Right now, what they're having a problem with on a large amount of these MDOs is prove to us that there's no youth access to your product. Well, how do you do that?
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry, Paul.
Constituents is a big one.
They're Paul.
I kept them in the back there. I forgot about it.
Oh, there's Drop Bears.
G'day, Nick. G'day, guys. How are we?
What's up, bud?
What's up, mate?
Good afternoon.
How's that prescription working for you?
Oh, here we go. I knew. Man, I just walked into it, didn't I? Thanks for that.
Didn't I just hang up with you?
Yeah, a couple of hours
ago. You were
ago.
just talking to each other, really?
In the middle of the night, yeah. I've been working with my new clients out of the US now, trying to navigate pathways for Australia.
No. Hey, Nick, keep them up as late as possible.
I ask Nick for advice sometimes because he's got a smarter. No, he's got a better way of talking to government officials than what I do.
Well, at the beginning of the show, we call them the GOAT, the GOAT of Florida. He is the official GOAT of Florida.
And apparently Australia now.
Yeah. Well, you live in paradise already, Nick. I mean,
I'm trying to find that post, John.
Oh, it's on their page, Nick. It's on Barista Brew Co's Instagram page. I'll throw the link in chat, so private chat, you can go find it, read it better. Hold on.
Sorry about that. I'm going to turn.
Here you go, Nick. I put it in private chat. You click that, and it'll take you right to their Instagram page.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they posted that, and then they posted that also on their Facebook page, and they're actually on their website as well, which is kind of closed down, so you can't order juice from there anymore. You have to get all their juice from their website or from the shops now.
So it's in private chat. Gotcha.
And they're one of the few that I've seen actually post that letter. So I don't know if anybody else has posted that letter or exactly.
That's the first I had seen.
Yeah, the first
time. We're just keeping it quiet.
I saw something about Barista Brews.
I think doesn't Five Star do their stuff? I think it's 5 Star Labs, right? That does their manufacturing and lab work or whatever you want to call it.
Well, they're mixing and things like that, yeah. But I don't know who's.
Yeah, 5 Star Midwest Goods Inc. EGs.com.
It's 5 Star.
Joe Not Exotic and Silverback.
Yep, that's it.
And Silverback, Silverback as well. Yep. That's right, because we had what's his name from Silverback, right? Tim on say something about And I mean, like I said, that's the only letter I've seen from any manufacturer yet. That's basically saying they've gotten through the first step.
Right.
But see, their line from memory, the Barista Brews, that's all coffees.
And they got a lot of watermelon. Yeah, and it's desserts, coffee, and a few watermelon, raspberry.
Okay, but specifically Barista Brew. That's coffee.
Yeah, they're predominantly coffee flavored, coffee and dessert.
Yeah. Which is interesting because working with coffees is a really tough nut to crack because of some of the components in the flavorings.
Yeah.
Now, if they've gone to this level, and now I'd love to actually see. I'd actually love to. It won't stop. Trust me. I'm getting like 2 and 3 hours sleep a night at the moment, if that.
Well, if you get a hold of Wesley, he's a really good guy. He'd talk to you. Yeah, he would.
Now, I'd be very curious because I'd also like to see what their testing regime is. That would be a key, and where they're at, and parts of the submission.
I'm not
and whether or not they're willing to help others.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the only thing that they got rid of their cups. They were forced to get rid of the cups.
Sure, that's
which makes absolutely no freaking sense whatsoever, dude. I mean, that was their packaging. You got your bottle in the cup, in which you can reuse as a coffee cup. Stupid.
Well, it isn't. It isn't. It's Oh wow! Turn that off for the minute. That'd be one thing that I'd like to see. I'd like to see what's going on there. But coffee, at the end of the day, this youth business is absolute rubbish. Right. We know that for a fact now. Right. Yet the FDA is still not looking at that data at all. And there's more rhetoric coming out of different .orgs, or as we call them, the body parts organizations.
Right.
And that needs to be squashed.
Wow.
But we can't do it. Their war chest is massive.
Yeah.
And their political clout and who they have dinner with, or a glass of Chardonnay for that matter, and I'm talking openly about PAVE there, that's where some of these issues are coming from.
Yeah.
They got dealt a rough hand, or well, Truth did on Twitter when they released the depression stick, which is that was just absolutely mind blowing. As soon as I saw it, because we've got some private chats going on Twitter, and I just said, "Are you serious? They're actually saying this, and this is going against mental health." Yeah. That was just mind blowing. Yeah. That was next level. What the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry.
I've seen the commercial for the depression stick on TV.
Oh God!
I'm like, what the fuck?
I hate that commercial. Hulu plays that commercial on every friggin' break.
I'm mind blown now.
Tell Daniel to leave you alone.
He wanted everybody to see that. Yeah, you noticed that comment fell right below the tax chart. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and an RDA and everything. Yeah.
Can I might be stupid here. I should know this, but is there a World Vape Federation? Why can't all the groups get together worldwide and put some sort of a unity worldwide with all the countries that are actually? Maybe Nick, you don't have any idea too, Nick? Why isn't there a World Vape Federation?
That's a great question. But first and foremost, you would have to have
enough to keep all the states together, guys.
Yeah, I know, Nick. I knew you were going to say that.
You know, it's there's so many different states with so many different things happening.
Yeah.
That I think if we went even federal, you'd have a crazy amount of. We'd need crazy amount of representation to keep up with half of what's going on in just Florida. I mean, U.S. and Canada. U.S. and Australia, U.S. and France. I mean, forget it, right? Right now, we can't even get our federal people together, let alone.
But don't you think that would get us the media that we need to have something that large worldwide?
Yeah, but
I know it's difficult,
free, right?
Yeah,
you got financial.
Money,
I'm going to keep going
money.
back to that. It sucks, but it's reality, right?
Yeah.
Everybody got their hand out, man, for whatever it is. If you want to be heard, it sucks. Those bottles are not GCC compliant, by the way.
That's really interesting about this. That's a really old photo, and this is when Naked was actually switching over from still the glass.
Yeah, well, look at them all. Look at all the glass bottles down here. The whole shelf is.
You need a pile of that.
There's
right
money
there.
in the way.
Oh, sorry. Well, John put that there. Look at all the glass bottles down there, and all the ones up here. That's a way. They do that with every picture that they crank out, and
that doesn't mean that's old. That could mean that they were in a shop that doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Correct.
I've seen them.
As someone that is associated with a lot of stock photo companies, that is a complete 100% stock photo that they purchased from a company to use. And it was probably right at the top. And they just said, okay, that one's $25.50. Okay, I'll take that one right there.
Yeah.
Man, I am having a hard time finding something to charge this thing.
But
as I'm talking.
You're a vape shop. You own a vape shop, Nick. How many fucking glass bottles do you still have in your shop, dude?
Zero.
Why?
Why?
Because I don't buy everybody's leftover shit that nobody wants to buy. Yeah, and I'm not in it for the coin. I carry the shit that people want.
Yeah.
I don't go to these places. These shops here, they go buy this stuff for $3 a bottle and throw it on the shelf because it's outdated and it's friggin' stuff that people are trying to dump.
There's your answer.
I can't tell what that one company is on the bottom shelf. I've seen that box before, but
nasty.
Is it
that's
nasty?
That's
Malaysia.
nasty. Yeah, that's Malaysian. Oh, don't go there.
Yeah. Well, to Eddie's point, Eddie, I mean, that's kind of like the space that we're in with a lot of situations for a lot of people, and that the assumption is that if when USPS finally has to shut it down, because we already know FedEx and UPS won't carry vape mail. They already followed suit. That once USPS publishes their final rule, the primary option won't be an online option for people. That they're going to have to go to the vape shops to get their stuff. So shipping becomes a non-issue at that point. It means that people are going to have to walk into the vape shop to buy their stuff. So, you know, it was sort of like, okay, now the vape shops are going to kind of get their day in the sun. Like for all of the stuff that and don't get us wrong, we totally understand. I think so. You're right. A lot of people would just buy stuff online because they could get it a lot cheaper. But now you're going to get into a situation where there will be people that don't even have vape shops available to them. They don't. It's not in. There's no e-liquid in the cash and carry down the street. You know, they live in a rural area, at an hour plus away from a vape store, that if they even know one exists, and they're not going to be able to get that stuff. So, I mean, there's still some issues involved in that. So it's not that the vape shops are frowned upon.
Can I answer
Mike's question?
Yeah. It's the Vapors Depot menthol, Mike.
Hell yeah.
The Vapors Depot menthol.
Yeah.
#1 top seller.
I always bring it up, but what's cool about your shop is every time you post a picture, it's always someone in their late 50s, 60s, 70s. I love that because it's the complete opposite of what everybody thinks is vaping.
That's by design, buddy.
Yeah, I love it. I love seeing older people. And like here at our shop, it's generally, it's got, I want to say 35, 40s, 50s. I think probably at any given time, I'm probably the oldest guy in there, unfortunately. But yeah, it's usually right in that area. Yeah, I'm the goat, baby. I'm the goat.
Our average customer is 47. So
nice.
We're all older people, but we're...
Yeah.
Some of you guys might think 47 is old.
That's middle age. Look at Paul. Oh, Paul. I am just kidding, Paul. Hey, I think the three in the bottom and me at the top are about the same age, right?
Yeah, close.
I'm 53. I think Paul, you're what, 52? You said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in Sacramento, Eddie. So I mean, what's the market? What's the market like for you out there? I mean, I would think in California it's a totally different situation, right? Because John, you're a Californian. Yeah. It's harder for you to get stuff in there, isn't it?
Yeah, Eddie, I'm willing to bet you probably shop at Planet of the Vapes.
He says he has it. Yeah, he said he has a shop.
Yeah, it's probably Sacramento's big. Planet of the Vapes is pretty big out there, so I'm assuming that
it's probably Eddie's store.
Unless they're still open, I don't know if they're still open.
Eddie, do you own a shop? The way you were talking in your previous comment, it's you said hard for my business. Do you run a vape store?
Yeah. But to answer your question, Tim, the prescription model is not rolling out the way they intended.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I had read, Paul, to bolster that, I had read a comment from a doc. I think it might have been a doctor or somebody from Australia saying that there was a lot of hoops and fire and regulatory bullshit that they have to jump through in order to become someone who can prescribe. And they were saying that a lot of doctors probably won't jump on board just because of the bullshit they got to put up with to get to that point. Yeah.
Well,
it's all true, right, Paul?
100%. And the other hoop that they're not telling anyone is, and this is hilarious, there's the Pharmacy Association here in Australia, and there's 2 1-hour courses that are being put up online, so pharmacists actually know how to talk to you about vape devices, which is hilarious. An hour-long course on how to work with vape devices. That's for a start. Second to that, the RACGP, which is the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners, have also put forward that they would like to see a nic cap of 20 milligrams, bottle sizes, 4 prescriptions a year, so you have to go back to your doctor 4 times a year, right?
gravy.
Which puts strain on the medical system, which is already crushed because of COVID. And we're just coming out of lockdown now where I live in New South Wales, and I've been in since, July this year.
Yeah.
So it's not going to work. Now, how the hell are you meant to see a doctor in Australia when you live in the middle of, nowhere?
Right.
Telehealth was open, or Zoom conversations with your practitioner was open for about a month. Now they're stating that it's going to cost you anywhere between $82 and $100 and whatever dollars for your prescription, and this is 4 times a year.
What?
So, yeah, these are the figures. And then I was in a battle royale with someone on Twitter over the last couple of days, and I dove into the company that he put out there, and I said, hang on a second. So we're back at point A, that we're importing products to sell in Australia. And then I said, well, what's the technology on the nicotine? And he sent me a link, like it was put up on Twitter, and I went into it and I went, hang on, this is NETs, naturally extracted tobaccos. And I thought, what the hell? That's old technology. If you want to go back to 2014, right? The product's actually manufactured in Germany. He said it was manufactured between Australia and New Zealand. I just laughed at this. I went, you're playing in the wrong boat right now, because we can find out anything we want about products and who manufactures. You're taking us for a pack of idiots.
Right.
We're not kids here.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing, and I'm going through the regulatory process right now.
But the difference is you've got people who listen.
Correct.
To the right people.
Yeah. And I've been reaching out across the world for help on this. And I'm not lying, I've reached out to Poland, the United States, New Zealand, Canada, Germany, the UK, and all of them are saying the same thing. This prescription model, and they're trying to state now that the UK is also looking at the prescription model. And I said, that's complete and utter rubbish.
So hopefully it fails big time. So nobody wants to do this.
The monopoly is starting to show that the pharma side of it, and as we call it here, the pharma cartels, are pulling the strings of the TGA. We have the AMA, the Australian Medical Association, going live on Twitter and stating that we're all getting calls today. The AMA has come out openly using US figures from 2017. What the hell is this all about? Really? Yeah. That they're trying to say that there's 2/3 of Australian, and I said that's a US figure, and then he had to delete that tweet, and then he retweeted something else. And he said, well, that's complete and utter rubbish. The new report has been released, and the downturn, 40+% across the board, and it's you that are allowing these prescription products to come in, and you've got a company that is very heavily connected with the government, that is only the distributor here in Australia for this product, not the manufacturer. And even when you look through their data sets and their data sheets, SES, I haven't seen a COA for this company, but naturally extracted tobaccos, that is still, and they said that this was the most ethical route that they could take. I just went, are you joking me? And some of the things that he was saying were just ludicrous. And then when he came out and he said, well, this is the product that we're manufacturing, I said, no, you're not at all. We dove into him and tore him apart. The thread was over 100 plus tweets between a few of us. And when I got to the bottom of it and I found out that he's the father of the son that's organised this, but it's only a distribution deal. And then it gets directly connected on their website to quit clinics, which, again, it's the pharma mafia here. Forget it. You know,
why
we're
would
fighting this now.
Why would the UK want to switch to a prescription model when they're so vehemently in support of vaping? I mean, to the point where they actually have vape shops in hospitals. I don't understand why they would consider looking at something different.
And he was trying to tell me that the UK now wants a 20 milligram nic cap across the board. Yeah. And I said, but hang on, you're just about to go through TPD 3.0. And if the UK sticks with that model, they're lifting the size of the bottles. The 2 mil restriction on tanks has disappeared, right? And we all know that everyone through the UK is getting their hands on products that are not 2 mil, right? Squonking is another one. You can't control that. That's a mechanical device for the best part. Really? It's got a silicone bottle. Good luck with that one. You can source those silicone bottles from all different sources.
I got a quick question for you there, Paul, because there's something we talked about before. Are they now when you go and get your prescription, are they dictating how much nicotine you're allowed to have, or is it something you get to choose after you get the prescription?
It's
still debatable.
Okay, that's a two-part question.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, under the parallel import scheme, as long as you have a prescription, you can import up to 50 milligram like nic salts, right? But if you go to a doctor, their duty apparently is that you have to try all the other features and functions of the pharma model before you're allowed to be prescribed said
Sneaky
products.
sons of bitches,
So they try to do it like anxiety medications. We're like, well, we'll start you out on the 10. If that doesn't work, we'll move you up to the 15. If that doesn't work, then we'll give you the 25, which is a medicinal dose.
No. Okay. You have to try the Zyban, the Chantix.
So you have to jump off. You have to commit suicide before you get to try the 50.
Yeah. You're not allowed the 50.
Fucking joke.
And then they just crushed part of my business model in development. I used to work with 200 milligram all the time. They've now capped imports at 100 milligram. Which, what the hell are we going to do with that? Dilution, if you're working with 100 milligram, you're diluting and you're going through far more products to do your development as to when you're using 200 milligram. So you're upping flavors, you're changing. You've got 5 different recipes for that one product when you're going up through the milligram strength. It's why? Why are they doing this? I would rather, and look, I'm switching completely now to synthetic. I've been in discussions with a company that has created a form of synthetic that can be fingerprinted.
What?
So we know where the product comes from. So if you have a liquid and someone rebottles your liquid and you haven't given them authority and you test it, you mass spec it, bang. That's not yours. We own the IP to that. You're overstepping the line. Game on. They really want to play.
Because of the approval process.
Thank you.
Let me ask
Without
you
that,
something.
You can't be approved. It'll be wide open market.
Yep.
All right, this may sound like a silly question, but where is the nicotine manufacturers in all this? Why isn't there a fight from them? I get they're getting their money.
That's not the U.S. though.
No,
I know, but it's Australia.
Not
but it's still a large manufacturer of nicotine. Nah, maybe not as big as.
No. The majority of nicotine is actually imported into the United States. There's only a handful of manufacturers on U.S. soil. The base ingredient for the majority of free-base nicotine comes from India. Okay, India. Bottom line,
the country that's banned vaping.
Thank you. And then now we have a product that is 99.9% pure and has no trace whatsoever of the tobacco molecule in there at all. Right. Period. Yeah. No taste, and look.
Carbon tests for those products are outrageously expensive per
correct.
So you got to carbon test that stuff prior to the approval. Yeah. So you got to spend money on carbon testing.
Yep.
The fingerprint model.
Yep.
and then the 200 milligram mixture. So
Yep.
it's going to be
Tom.
crazy. They put so many little things on there it's just insane.
They're stipulating certain things, and the funny part about Australia is that there's only one synthetic nicotine that's actually marked and noted. Who's this, Daniel? Going 2,000 milligram to 1,000. What planet are you on? 2,000 milligram? Wow, here we go.
Daniel might have typed in extra zeros in there.
Oh, there's zeros there galore.
And yes, it is shit out of luck. No, let's not go there. Let's not go that far.
It's tough because right now, I don't care what the FDA says, to be quite honest. The chemistry and the data sets will win out in time. And that's part of it. Okay. Longitudinal studies and youth uptake, longitudinal studies have already been done. There are data sets out of Europe. There's a 7-year study that could then be put into play. Okay. That could be put into play at any point in time. Or you can actually access that data, but you have to credit where the data came from. Okay, these are the things that need to be.
And it's not only the data though, Paul. It's the data linked to that product.
Correct. Exactly.
So you can do all the data trace you want, but you've got to link it to your product. So not just anybody can pick it up and use that data.
No, but there are parts of it that can be used.
Yeah.
Not all of it as a broad. But there are
components, yes.
Yeah, components that can be used.
We know what you meant, Daniel.
Yeah,
we know what you meant, Daniel.
I was joking with you, Daniel. Don't worry, chill out.
Yeah.
But yes, Daniel, 200 to 100 is
dramatic. There's a dramatic change in the drama when you're trying to work with stuff like that. Then you have to go back to your flavor house and say, well, can you please up the flavor level in these concentrates so you can work with a dilution. Yeah. That's the other problems that you've got. Here, the regulatory body won't listen to the science. They've gone with this, and it's going to completely fail.
Yeah.
And we're watching it.
And where are the flavor companies? Why aren't they jumping on board with us? I'm just kidding, guys. Where's Flavor Art? Where's Flavor Art?
They've been there. They've been there in the back end.
Flavor Art's in it.
I know they're in it. Yeah.
Sean Casey's there.
Sean,
Sean's in it.
He's at the table.
Well, they have a product. Do they still have a product, or did they dump that product?
No, they don't. They don't have a product. They're just flavors.
Didn't they have a device they were pushing in Italy for a while there? I think they
might still be moving that.
Yeah, they had a kind of like your blue.
Yeah.
They kind of tipped their toes in it right when they saw that it was taken off. I don't know what was it, Paul, 5-6 years ago, or maybe less than that.
They might have pulled that.
Yeah, they dipped their toes into. There's I think they realized.
No. Italy. They still have vaping devices through FA Italy.
Yeah, from Flavor Art.
Yeah.
Okay.
They still carry devices, but they're older generations. They're not a new generation.
Yeah.
The other problem that we have here is everything. It's 18 and over to start with, right? For drinking, tobacco, all of that type of stuff. We have these Instagram and Facebook groups appearing, selling pods openly, even in Facebook Marketplace, right? Like 50 milligram disposables. These aren't disposables. These are new ones from SX Mini.
Yeah.
These are replaceable coil and pod system. But disposables now are being shown here in Australia. But then we went back. They were saying that all the disposables in Australia were 50 milligram. We actually proved to them that they're not. We gave them a whole set of 0 milligram. And we said, good luck. You can't pull the wool over our eyes anymore. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
You're lying. We know where the money's coming from. And the dark money here in Australia is so hard at work, it is not funny. It is not funny at all.
Yeah.
They learned from the best.
Yep.
Get the Queen involved. I'm just kidding, Paul.
Okay, no. That's actually a really good point, because the Royal College of Physicians in the UK, right?
That's right. It's run by her. Yeah.
Right. The sister of that is the RACGP. They are not listening to the UK. They said, we don't believe that. We don't believe their science. We don't believe their findings. And I said, excuse me?
Yeah.
We have a public health system here. Why wouldn't you be offering a safer alternative of nicotine consumption? But nicotine is I'll shut up with it.
Yeah.
If the two molecules, caffeine and nicotine together, show me which one. Which one's what? And they couldn't tell me.
I don't know how the government works there. At any point in time, could they officially step in and say, I know I'm living in dream world here, but can they officially step in and say, you look at Nick's can they officially step in and say, fuck this. This is stupid. We see what's going on. You're going to apply the same things we're doing here, there in Australia. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. It is actually possible, but we have such a corrupt government at the moment. If anyone's been watching the news,
I mean, is there...
John, they can't even go talk to their legislators with a lobbyist.
Yeah,
they can't even go speak.
Yeah, I know. But Paul could get a sit down with the Queen.
Why the fuck would I want that? We might be part of the Commonwealth, but they're not listening to the UK.
Yeah, they're not listening.
Yet we just signed a deal with the United States, the UK, for nuclear submarines.
Who's funding the health organization there in Arizona, in Australia?
Which health organization?
Huh?
Exactly. What, the TGA?
Yeah.
It's pay to play.
Pay to play.
It's, if you have a product, you have to pay to play.
But I mean, as
if
far
you
as
want something approved,
as your health system, the health, your doctors, your physicians, your nurses,
federally run. It's federal. We have a public health system here and a private health system as well.
And a private. You have both, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And then you have, on top of that, there's another tier, which is...
Those are millionaires.
Like the elite. Well, the elite for, wacky surgeries that you might want to have done.
Oh, okay.
But...
breast reduction.
No, not those types of wacky surgeries. Just
if your kangaroo needs help, you
in
mean?
general.
Yeah.
If your kangaroo needs a limb fixed.
Kangaroo.
Yeah. But
your drop bear's not falling right.
Yeah, if your drop bear falls out and hurts yourself.
The kangaroo needs a new leg.
The drop bear was stoned again. Yeah, not a problem. But
I was just wondering how much control. I know you guys have always said, she doesn't really have that much control of what's taking place on your country. Yeah. But I was just thinking health-wise, or the health system, that she or someone from Parliament there in England actually had a say, kind of like our Congress decides how much money goes to the FDA, something like that. You understand where I'm getting at? Yeah. Is there any of that there where England says this is how much is allocated for healthcare? No. Okay.
No. But then get this: we're coming out of Delta lockdown, right, here in Australia, and the federal government has just axed funding to the public health system. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Disabled people that were to be vaccinated on tier 1 and tier 1A were actually removed from that list and moved to tier 3.
Yeah.
The government can't even give us figures on how many disabled people are actually being vaccinated now, or their handlers for that matter.
Yeah. Well, we're going through a similar thing here in California with children.
It's a shambles.
We've got a couple of the school boards that are not abiding by Newsom's every child should be vaccinated before coming to school. And some of the school superintendents are saying, well, that's the parent's choice, not the state's choice, whether these kids are vaccinated before they come back to school. Go ahead, Tim.
No. I was waving goodbye to Mike. Mike was saying goodnight.
I thought you had something.
No. Mike was just saying goodnight.
Yeah, we're running into that similar problem here with the schools and kids.
Yeah, but we've now found. There was a professor here at the Melbourne University, Professor Lopez, right?
Wait a minute, you have a Lopez in Australia?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Professor Charles Lopez, right? He was a professor down at the Melbourne University. You're disappearing, are you, pirate? No?
No, I thought Nick was saying he had to go.
No, I was saying bye to Mike.
Oh, God, I'm all way off today. Go ahead, Paul.
No, that's cool.
Well, because I can't type in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh. Take it out of full screen. Take it out of full screen.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know how to do that. I'll hang up again.
Lopez was, or when he was at the university, and then he got pinged for touchy-feely, just like Glance. we found out that 5 years ago, 2015, $100 million from Bloomberg got funneled into Melbourne University. And then the government bolstered that with another $40 million. We found this out. And then we found another section, right? As I said, the dark money is huge here. Yep. And they're spouting. Someone must be on the payroll of truth in Australia, because they keep citing the exact same rhetoric time and time again. And I'm like, why? Why are you quoting US figures when you can't get off your ass here in Australia and create your own sets of figures? Yeah, money.
Money.
And a certain person here of public health was having his photo taken out right next to a brand new Aston Martin. Really? Fucking really?
I want an Aston Martin.
Oh, so do I. This is an Aston Martin DB2. It was, DB7, one of the new ones, like the twin turbo jobbies. And I thought, hang on a second, you're having your picture posted with this, and you're putting it on Twitter, and we found it. Once I find out who owned that car, I went, really? You're having photos taken with that car? Was this a gift? And then this professor has also been appointed to the board or to the advisory panel of the TGA on vaping and vaping products and youth uptake. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Forget it.
You know the blueprint.
Yeah.
What are you asking that for? You've seen the blueprint. So have they.
That car might belong to Tom Brady.
No. Jeez. Tom Brady wouldn't be driving a Aston Martin. He'd have a bit more. I don't know what he's driving. I love a Roller.
He drives a Ford pickup truck, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
He drives a Toyota. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah, Toyota. I think he does. I think you're right. A big one.
He drives a Dodge Ram like Nick. He's a man's man.
He drives whatever the hell they gave him to drive.
Right.
Because he doesn't pay for a damn thing.
Well, actually, Gronkowski gives him a piggyback to the stadium every Sunday.
Well, I'm looking at Chevy at the moment. If someone from Chevy's listening, I would love a new truck.
Chevy listening to this show.
You want a truck? And you're talking about Chevy. Chevy don't make a truck.
What, the pickup trucks?
No, they don't make them.
You forget Chevy's big over there, Nick. Chevrolet is big, and Toyota,
GM.
and GM. Yeah, they're like.
I'll take something from Toyota as well. One of the new Tundras. I'll take one of them.
You even take. You know what a Dodge is over there?
Yeah. But to import a 3500 Ram, right? You're looking at 200,000 Australian dollars.
Yeah, it's not my money. I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
It's not my money.
Okay. Anyone from Dodge listening?
Just sell a few bottles of e-liquid. You'll be all right.
Oh, here we go. Who's saying Ford makes trucks? Oh, Luke, go away. Ford, you know what we say here in Australia about Ford? Found on rubbish dumps. Simple.
Yeah. Ford found on what? Can you hear you?
Found on rubbish dumps or some weird.
Found
Australian
on rubbish
shit,
dumps. Okay. Yeah. What the hell are you talking about? You got
Ford trucks.
translator in
That's
the
what
room?
it stands for.
Yeah.
Ford.
Ford, found on road dead, first on race day.
No, fucked on race day as well.
Well, can we address a couple more things? We got about 10 minutes left on this
Yeah,
show.
go ahead.
Tim,
Shoot,
do
let's
a couple
roll.
more things. We can go on with this forever.
Yeah. So we'll
Don't
talk
you still
about.
have some news
I'm going to
articles
share
do,
your
Tim?
screen, Tim. Or
Well,
you good?
I had one that I just felt like it was worthy to talk about because it's a bit of an inevitability here in the United States, and it's something that was actually sort of on the horizon as early as the beginning of the year with regard to vaping being added to the PACT Act. And being going to be treated just like any other tobacco product in terms of distribution and mailing, and that the omnibus bill was going to regulate the United States Postal Service from being barred from carrying vape mail. So the stipulation is that they would go through their little rigmarole, and that they, by the end of April, they were supposed to publish the final rule in the Federal Register, which meant by that time, as soon as that was published, they would the vape ban would then take hold. So a lot of the vape companies, online vendors, were looking or at least scrambling for an option to ship, because really the four big carriers kind of were all on board, right? So you would have had USPS, which would have been barred by the federal government. UPS and FedEx basically just followed suit because they didn't want the liability or the additional hassle that they would take on beyond that, and then have to deal with any liability should that happen. DHL also amended their policy to effectively ban the carrying of any nicotine stuff. So we all sat around, hoping and praying for Vape Freight or whatever the fucking name of that company was going to be. It was a picture of a 50, a picture of a 53-foot truck carrying your $100 ml bottle of Naked 100, which I think that was probably a shitty representation. But I think I think what it was aimed at is creating some kind of a courier type service, but had some drawbacks to it, and I don't think it was available immediately to every state and every person immediately. It was going to be kind of a test market. But a lot of companies were coming out with these broad statements on their website saying, hey, they had established these connections and these relationships and that they would still be able to ship. Yay, all the online people rejoiced, But the lurking dark piece is that really never came to fruition because it wasn't necessarily needed. I think there was some trials with it. It maybe didn't work that well, but all the while, USPS never really stopped shipping vape mail. They had an open commentary period, which was really not to try to get them to change their mind. It was already passed into law that they were going to have to shut it down. But ultimately, in the end, they had to do their open commentary period to try to get the final regulations nailed down with regard to B2B shipping and stuff like that. But in the meantime, people were still ordering online and being charged an adult signature delivery fee, which was anywhere from $5 to $6 per shipment. A lot of people were like, hey, I'm going to have to be home to sign for my shipments, yada, yada, yada. Then it was kind of twisted because shipments were being left in mailboxes and people weren't having to sign, and then they were getting bent out of shape because they were paying this fee that they didn't feel was justified when the shippers didn't really have a choice but to charge that sort of stuff. So now, here we are. We're like, hey, well, this, how long is this going to last? It's still have a bit of a luxury going on. And then this was posted last night on Facebook vis-a-vis Matthew Salter. So I'm going to share that.
Do you have it for me to share, Tim?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So I'll blow it up for everybody. So I want to be clear on this in terms of sharing this. This was supposedly from Ranger. Well, this was from Ranger Vape, supposedly coming from a reliable source. There's nothing to confirm or deny that this isn't factual information, or if it will end up being come to fruition. But as it stands, the Ranger Vapes posted the below was received via email from a good source. Currently, I would consider it speculative until officially released on a government website or publication. The statement in general just reads, effective October 21st, so that would roughly be in about 2 weeks. Electronic nicotine delivery systems, or ENDS systems, become non-mailable under the Prevent All Cigarette Trafficking PACT Act, along with cigarettes and smokeless tobacco. Well, smokeless tobacco and cigarettes, pretty much nobody orders that shit online now. Anyway, but that said, and this goes on. I'm not going to read the whole thing because what matters more is the date, right? Because this is an inevitability anyway. This is going to happen at some point in the process. Along with cigarettes and smokeless tobacco, unless the shipments fall within certain exceptions, as explained below. And then they kind of go into the whole, well, we can still ship to businesses and some of these other things. So I just want people to be aware that this could be a absolute possibility that by October 21st we could see a final rule published in the Federal Register, and then the change would supposedly take effect immediately beyond that point. So I'm not trying to put fear of God into anybody, get people out, stock up missions, but you might want to consider it. But I just think it's something that I think that unfortunately we've kind of been waiting for, and it was just a matter of time. But we'll see. We'll see if we get to the 21st, and that's exactly what happens. If anything, I'm sure we'll see a future announcement. But it's worth talking about because it's going to change the landscape even more. If USPS does shut it down, will the vape courier services be a fallback for online distribution and the marketplace? Will that not exist? Will we see lots more websites shutting down because they won't have options to ship anymore because they were kind of like just waiting to see how long this would last? So I just want to put that out there, that insider news, right? So we'll have to wait and see if it actually comes to fruition. So you put this on top of the MDOs, and then you put this on top of the potential vape tax that they're trying to get passed through the Capitol building, through the Senate and the House, and so that's still on the table. So you kind of couple all that together, and it doesn't spell good news for anybody who relies on getting their products anywhere. Because if you have taxation and you have MDOs, that affects local vape shops anyway, right? It has nothing to do with shipping at all. Shipping is just a mechanism, a vessel to get our products. But if you have to go to the vape shops and then you can't get the brands you want and it's taxed beyond oblivion, what are you going to do, right? So just more to think about. And I wanted to call attention back to CASA and the call to action that's around to go ahead and try and fight the vape tax that they're proposing, which would effectively add, I believe, if you look at the chart, I believe it's on a 6 milligram bottle, 60 mil bottle of e-liquid, you're looking at $20 in tax on top of that. So, and you already know the markups in vape shops. So, there's that. Yeah. But I did read that one of the elements, I apologize, I'll have to maybe go dig it back up again, but I did read somewhere that within the parameters of the PACT Act and the shipping regulation restrictions, that there would be some established service that would allow kind of these vape distributors to ship to some kind of a third-party local distribution house where you would, in effect, be able to go pick up your order. That might be something that is a viable option that is being discussed and potentially going to be allowed. But again, I mean, these are all presumptions. I don't know if that's going to be something available immediately or this will be something that we'll even have access to. I know for a fact that there's several online vape distributors. I can't even get stuff into Georgia. And right now they can use USPS. But you go to the cart and you go to checkout and it says, unfortunately, we can't ship to your location. And I don't live in a state where we have an active vape ban, e-liquid ban, flavor ban, or of any kind. So anyway, that's the news, and I think I did it. I pulled it out with about 30 seconds to spare.
Yeah. I wanted to
20
go through this
seconds.
real quick with Nick. I'm sure you guys you've seen this breakdown of each states and what they're paying as far as taxes. Have you seen this website, Nick? You're muted. You never sounded better, Nick.
I haven't seen the website.
Yeah, this is a breakdown for each state, what they're paying per milligram. I guess it depends on milligrams. Some in milligrams, some is wholesale, some is manufactured listed price. I guess this is changing for us because there's a new, I guess something passed in California. I haven't really had a chance to dig in to read the article. I don't know if you guys know anything about it yet. But
When was this last updated?
It says 2021.
So
On
like
the top,
January?
see, vape and e-cigarettes taxed
Okay.
by state 2020-21. So
Gotcha.
Lindsay had other data that she was putting out on Twitter the other day. But some of these figures, they're hideous.
no tax in Florida. 80% on wholesale, 5%, or is that 0.05 milligram, whatever, however that works out. But I think we pulled this website up before when we did a show on the taxes in each individual states. But I wasn't sure if you guys, I can give you guys the link. I'll put it in chat there so you guys can check it out and kind of give anyone that's in one of these states, just kind of let me know if it's accurate. That would be good. I don't know. I know, where's Daniel, Virginia?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah,
Tim's in Georgia,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
and he said there's nothing there.
Well, what did it say? Go back up and pull Georgia.
It's like 5% per.
0.5
replaceable cartridge, 7%
Yeah,
wholesale open and wholesale single use closed. I'm not. I don't know where that's coming from because I'm not seeing that in terms of when I buy. But I don't go to vape shops.
You don't go to vape shops, yeah.
I buy
Well,
Roll
online.
down to
I know-
Wisconsin.
Daniel works in a vape shop. So I was just wondering if that sounded accurate. I know where it is, Daniel. God,
I could look at a recent order and see if they're taxing
I
me
distracted
specifically
him. I
on my
made him
state.
go back to Georgia.
Well, hold on. I'm going to look up a recent order and see if I got any strange tax.
75% wholesale in Massachusetts. That sounds about right for those bastards over there. Sorry, anyone that lives in Massachusetts.
If it was a nickel or a dime, per mil, right, regardless of the strength, I think people would swallow that, wouldn't they?
But who put this out is what I'm trying to figure out. Who?
Yeah, I'm
who-
curious.
I sent the link. Did I put the link in chat there?
No, you
for
didn't.
Here, I'll put it in private as well for you, Nick, so you can check it out.
Yeah, I'm curious now as well. Who created this chart?
I can go all the way to the bottom and see who puts this
I
out.
got it. I'm just trying
got
to. I wonder who put this out. Who are these people?
IGEN. I don't know who the hell.
Industries. Oh, hang on. Oil and gas, tobacco, and vapor products. What the
They're
hell?
in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
How do we reach out and get them on the show? I'm curious.
We call Morgan.
Okay. All right. I'm curious now because.
So Virginia is 0.066 per mil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Daniel commented. He said there's a $7.92 tax on a 120 ml bottle. I think he put in.
Oh,
there
wow.
Hey, you want to shit your pants? Look at Vermont.
Yeah, look at Vermont.
Yeah, I know.
They're the highest. They seem to be the highest as far as the wholesale price. 92%.
Oregon, 465. I didn't think they had that, man.
What the hell?
Okay, Ohio. Now you got me interested.
Yeah, you get those.
Yeah,
talk
exactly.
to those guys, Nick.
All right. I don't know if this gleans anything in terms of Georgia, but I ordered from eJuice Connect. I had a subtotal of $105. I was then charged a state tax of $4.20 on that. And mind you, this was roughly about 1,1200 mils of juice. $4.20 state tax, a $3.15 county tax, and that was it. It didn't seem absorbent. So
My last order, it was a 5.5%.
So is that right for you as far as Wisconsin then?
Yeah.
Yeah, 0.05 mil. Yeah.
I need Brian to crunch my number. I'm not into that shit. So
crunch. Yeah, I just saw that. I used this chart before to do a show a couple months ago, and it looks like it has been updated. Census as of it says as of October 2021 rates are so it's accurate. Supposedly it's accurate. So I don't know. I just thought I'll put it in the chat as well.
Interesting.
So if anybody wants to go check that out. All right, guys. Hey, Nick and Paul, thank you for joining us, coming in there. Nick, you're our number one fill-in guest.
it's our number one standing. Paul's pulling in at a close 2, though.
Yeah,
he's about has the same number, almost the same number of appearances. I think it's off by 1 or 2.
Still got to beat Matthew.
It's neck and neck now.
Yeah, I would have Paul on more, but I keep forgetting that it is afternoon for you. I always think it's later than that afternoon. So early morning,
don't
right?
Don't let him bullshit you, Paul. He just don't like you that much.
I quit counting, Curtis. I don't know. This is a 7 mil tank. I fill it up maybe about 3 times, so that's about 20 mil.
This is 2 days. I dusted it. I don't know what happened. I'm 10 mils a day. For some reason, if I get a juice that I can't put down, it's go time, and I hate it. I feel bad that I vaped that much juice in 2 days, and that's pretty much half the bottle. So
that's about average. 30 mils a day.
That's not me though. I'm 10 to 12 mils a day.
Hard
maybe.
To believe. MTL all 30, day long. 40, then. Yeah. Hey Eddie, check out eJuice Connect. Go to eJuice Connect. They got great prices on their e-liquid.
It's too late.
Yeah, and get the Honey or the Cooperton app, our extension for your Google browser, and have that thing active. It always finds a coupon.
Or if you're in Florida, visit one of Nick's shops.
That's true. I don't know where Eddie is. So. I said Sacramento, right? Yeah, I think he was in California.
Oh, he's in Sac. Oh, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of options. Then.
Your history in a minute. That's not Foster's in my koozie. Get fucked.
And if you're in Australia,
everyone knows Aussies don't drink Fosters. They just they laugh at the can.
It's Australian for beer.
I don't know how much I go through a day. So
because you keep switching devices. Yeah.
I got a whole table full.
Yeah, if you're in Australia, they'll have a vape and a Foster's with Paul there.
It won't happen.
I kill you for free. Don't worry.
Yeah, and if you're
better pieces than you, so
and if you're in Wisconsin, go have a vape and a bag of milk with Tom. You know,
stay off my damn lawn. I'll shoot you with an arrow.
You're in Cali, come visit me. We'll have a vape and espresso. Well, wait, Nick has espresso in his shop, so...
Yeah, for you, John, it would be
You got coffee in your store? We're not allowed to even sell bottles of water in our stores.
Well, we sell water, too.
Yeah,
we're not allowed.
Our shop
Actually,
has water.
Give water away.
Yeah, $1 a bottle, and if you buy something and you ask for it, they just give it to you here at our shop.
You have to register a water fountain in your store here in Australia. Get fucked. Yeah, fuck. Really? It's a vending machine of water. It's not a vending machine of liquid nicotine, you jackasses.
They determining how many milliliters of water you drink or what?
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there. That's for another day.
Yeah.
To whom it may concern. Yeah, get fucked. Modern vapor knows.
Yeah. Clear throat to whom it may concern. Yeah, exactly.
I will say one thing. Coming up next month for COP9, CAFRA and a number of other groups are getting together, and we're going to be doing live shows for the whole 5 days.
Nice.
Right on.
And absolutely destroying everything that they're doing. And Twitter will be like...
Is there going to be kangaroo races?
I don't know.
I would watch a kangaroo race.
Kangaroo boxing matches.
That, you know...
yeah.
That's what I miss about the county fairs the last 2 years is not getting to see my pig races. It's pissing me off. It's the only excitement I have is seeing
Pig
those
races.
Yeah, the pig races, man.
We have hermit crab races here at the pub.
Oh, God.
Little crabs that run across. We've got
No,
that.
man. You hearing those
See,
pigs squealing?
Paul's on the water. He don't even see kangaroos. He's out on the wharf there.
Yeah.
He's close to Sydney.
He sees horses all day.
You guys
No,
need to go
not
watch.
at the moment.
Fish.
Hang
Not
on,
at the
hang on.
moment.
Y'all need to go watch either some cow shit bingo or chicken shit bingo. I'm just saying.
Oh, chicken. Yeah, chicken bingo.
Midget tossing.
That's really getting to the south right there. Chicken bingo, chicken shit bingo. Just wait for
We
the
have it
chicken
up here too.
Yeah. No, we're gonna pass on that one.
Too funny.
It doesn't sound healthy. All right, guys, we're out of here.
I'm having barbecue for dinner. So
Yeah, there you
sorry,
go.
kangaroo.
I'll be right over.
No, kangaroo for dinner.
Oh no, I won't
I'm
eat
gonna
kangaroo.
crash.
That's Aboriginal.
You guys need to. I appreciate you doing the show a little earlier. That's kind of cool.
Back in the, I want to say, late 80s or early 90s, Jack in the Box got accused of using kangaroo meat. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
probably do.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah. All right, guys, we are out of here. Thank you again to Nick and Paul for jumping in on our show. I want to thank Tim always and Tom as well for joining the show. Oh, joining part of the show and doing the news and advocacy. We'll see everybody next Wednesday, same time, same channel. We're out of here.
Night all.